host, Farah. Thank you so much for joining. And we have a special guest today. We have Sarah Fung, and we're going to be talking about how to level up your career. So, Sarah, thank you again so much for joining. Always a pleasure to have you on. If you wanted to tell the people a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on your show again, Farah. I always have an awesome time with you. I love your energy. My name is Sarah Fung, so I'm a registered nurse. I've been nursing for 16 years now this month. And I started out at the bedside. So I was saying like I've got little chapters of my career now. So first chapter was bedside nursing. Second chapter was nursing leadership. Third chapter, doing my own thing with entrepreneurship and advocacy. I've actually got a book coming out next year, so that's really exciting. And I love talking about things careers because there's actually so many possibilities in nursing that I never learned about. I was always taught you graduate nursing school, you work in a hospital until you retire. That's it. Your path is straight. And I've come to realize that it's actually so diverse, and I want people to know all the options available to them. And that's what I like to do, is always talking to nurses, and I'm always learning myself too about really cool jobs that nurses can do. So that's why I want to share this with everyone today. And also we can talk about strategies on how you can get to these jobs.
Exactly. So thank you for sharing. And for all of those of you watching, please say hello. Let us know where you're watching from, what country, what city. Say hello. Let us know if you have any questions. Drop them in the chat and we'll address them shortly. And just like Sarah, similar to Sarah, I'm also a career coach and had some experience also at the bedside in emergency medicine. So I did ER for about 13 years. And I started my career in Canada. And I know Sarah is in Canada. And then I moved on to the US. I did travel nursing. So I pursued travel nursing. But I always share my story about how in nursing school, you're kind of driven to the hospital and they're telling you to go into med surge because that's what my clinical instructor told me. She said, Farah, oh, you'll never be an ER nurse. You're too unorganized. And in my head, I was like, what? And I was like, all right, like watch me. I will be an ER nurse and I'll be a badass ER nurse. So that's
Yes.
what I said. I'm going to empower other nurses and nursing students to do their just that, right? To go after their dream, go after the career that they want. Because like Sarah, like you're mentioning, nursing is so broad. There's so many opportunities out there. And this is what Sarah and I do is we want to open it up to share our knowledge and share what we know, what we've been through in nursing so that you can avoid the same those mistakes and how you can flourish in your career and also perhaps be interested in like something like entrepreneurship. But really we're going to talk about today really how to level up your career. So for those who don't know me, like I said, I started ER and went into education. Naturally, I was always educating nurses, precepting, giving them career guidance. And I was like, I could turn into into a business. So that's really what I've been doing for the last 2 years is guiding new graduate nurses and nurses to really be clear on what it is that they want to do and next steps and just transition because it's okay for nurses to want to transition, try something new and exciting. And my favorite thing, to get paid more. Nurses need to get paid more, right?
Mhm.
So these are all some of the things that we're going to talk about. And if you wanted to get into education or leadership or whatever it is, you can. All right, so the comments are coming in. I'm so excited. Let's go to the comment section and see what is going on. So we have hello, Laura from Pennsylvania. Laura in the house. We got Fatima. Hi, Fatima. And then we have, let us know where you're watching from too. We have Nahal. Hello, hello. And who else? Erica Thompson from Connecticut. Hey. We got somebody from Toronto.
Woo!
Hi, Dahlia. And then we have Wilmington, North Carolina. Hey, North Carolina. And then we got hello from Tampa, Betty. Oh my goodness. Hi, Tanisha from Brooklyn, New York. So I know Tanisha. So, Special shout out to Tanisha. Thank you for coming. Thanks for coming, everybody. We have Rosalind from CA, from California. All right, California knows how to party. Karen from San Diego. Oh, from Dubai. Awesome.
Ooh, I think you win the award for the farthest attendee. I love it.
Oh, we got
Oh,
Ghana.
Ghana. Okay, pretty far
Doesn't
too.
say who, but someone from Ghana. We see you. We got Jessica from Washington. All right, well, keep them coming in. We got another Canadian from Alberta.
I
Hey,
love it.
Alberta, A, let's go. Okay. And someone from the UK. What's up? UK's in the house. Okay, so let's get started. I'm so excited. So, guys, feel free to add to the comments. Let us know what you want to talk about. Let us know how you level up in your career. And if you're thinking about making a transition in your nursing career, what are some of your struggles? What's going on? How do you feel about the interviews, resumes? Do you need help with some of that stuff? Let us know what your questions are, because we'd love to answer all that. And also, talk to us about what you're struggling with, because we want to help. And we will, Sarah, tell them about our upcoming Level Up collaboration.
Yeah. So Farah and I decided to team up because we both do really similar work, and we thought, what better idea than to put two for the price of one. So if anyone watching is looking to, level their careers up, we're actually holding an event. It's over Nurses Week. It's going to be May 11th. We are going to cover all the things. So we're going to talk about personal branding. We're going to talk about confidence and mindset, how to write resumes and cover letters, how to leverage LinkedIn and network. So these are all things that are super important that I wish I had known when I first started in nursing, or when I was trying to shift my career. I had to learn through trial and error. So we're going to cut through all of that. We're going to give you the real stuff that you need to know. If you are interested, please send a message to Farah or myself, and we'll get you the link so that you can get all registered. We're going to make this super interactive too. So, we'll have time for you to ask all the questions you want to ask. It's going to be recorded, just like what you're watching right now is going to be recorded. I know there's a comment from someone. This video recording will be available afterwards. So if you miss any of it or you want to watch it again, you can definitely do that. Am I forgetting anything, Farah? We were talking about all the things you need to know.
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered it. And it's going to be, we're not going to offer this again. So it's very exclusive. It's just Sarah and I, like I said, two career coaches, giving you all the secrets, everything that you need to level up in your career. So you have to sign up today, because we want to give you the best price, because it's going to go up when it gets closer to to the dates, right? So let us know, message us if you're interested. So we have something in the comments here. I don't know who it is, but it says LinkedIn user. I am an OR nurse since 2001. I'm finishing up my master's in nursing informatics. Congratulations. And I want to move towards a job in nursing leadership. All right. Well, let's do it. I think, you definitely have the experience. And if you want to do it, I say go for it, right? And it depends what your master's is in. I'm thinking it's probably nursing leadership. So I would use that as leverage, right? And also try to, I don't know what your experience is in the past, but if you've had positions as a charge nurse or even assistant manager, anything like that, you can start building up your skills. You can also look into different certifications or different workshops that you can go to build up your leadership skills. And you can join certain organizations. Excuse me. One in particular is the AONL, which is the American Organization of Nurse Leaders. They have a lot of content and education for leadership. So definitely looking into that, because it's always a good thing to put on your resume. If you're part of an organization that's related to something that you want to go into. Sarah, do you have any tips?
In terms of nursing leadership, I think it's really about networking. So one of the biggest struggles I had in my career was getting from bedside to leadership. And I felt like I kept hitting a brick wall. Like I'd apply to so many things. Farah, I literally had a binder of job postings I would print. I was like, okay, printed, applied, printed, applied. And it wasn't until that I I finally got an interview, and I realized that the person interviewing me was my former manager. So she probably saw my name and realized that we had worked together before, and she, obviously liked what I did. So
Mhm.
I think if you feel like you're stuck or you're not sure how to move up, it's it's a combination of things. You need to make sure that you're presenting yourself best on your resume. You need to network, and how networking looks can be very many different ways. But really, you need to do something to set yourself apart. Otherwise, you're just
Yes,
another number, right?
exactly. And if anybody follows me and and knows the things that I talk about on LinkedIn is I always talk about how to stand out and be a badass nurse, right? You have to come with that confidence and be able to network, like Sarah is saying. And it's okay, even if you're an introvert, that's fine. You could still network. And I made the same mistake, like Sarah was saying. I used to think, well, almost I looked at it as like a negative, like I don't want to suck up to anybody,
Mhm.
and then I had to shift my mindset, and this is something we'll talk about when we do our webinar next month. But really, mindset and perspective is huge, and really just networking with people within the organization and outside, because you don't necessarily have to have a leadership position where you are now. Sometimes it's difficult to get in where you are. And if you're not growing and they're not giving you opportunities, because Lord knows that happened to me, I was like, all right, I'm gonna take my talents down to South Beach. That's what I always say, right? Like LeBron, I'm gonna go somewhere else, and so they can see my worth and my value. And sometimes that's what you have to do. So I hope that helped. Um, Oh yeah, yes, this video you can still watch it later. So for those who are watching the replay, you still will also be able to type in later on if you have any comments or questions. So I love it. I love all the people coming through. Hey, New York, Remy from New York, what's up? We have someone from the UAE, Heba. Thank you for coming in. We love it. And someone said they need help leveraging their resume. Well, you definitely need to come to our webinar next month. You got to sign up. Sign up today. Message us if you want to learn how to get into the webinar that we have next month. So, this is Karen. San Diego is very competitive. Do you think it's a good idea to hand deliver my resume and cover letter to the managers at my preferred hospital in hope of setting myself apart from the competition? So that is a good question. So I have kind of different perspectives on this. So number one, it could go well, right? Or it could be super awkward. It could be like, well, just apply online, type thing. However, if you do go, you'll get a good sense of what type of manager that is, right? So if the manager receives you well, if they happen to be there,
Mhm.
then great. You're like, you know what? Wow, this person was very nice. Da, 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 da. It'll give you a good sense of that unit and how that manager is. Because if they're not really nice and they're rude, then you probably don't want to work for them, right? Would I recommend it? I don't know. It's a tough one.
I was thinking about this question, and I think that it might make sense to do both. So maybe
Yeah,
you apply online first so that you're in the system, and then you follow up by, if you can get to the unit. So don't do it if it's across the state or across the province. But if you happen to be in the area already, maybe you just drop it off to make a personal connection, and you can say,
yeah,
here's my resume. And when they say to you, well, I just have to apply online, you can be like, did that already. I'm
exactly.
just following up because I wanted to meet you in person. Here's my resume that you're going to get through your inbox anyway. So that might be another approach. I think just handing out a resume is a little bit old school. Like, you have to go through the system like everyone else, but
Right.
you do want to stand out, right? And this is one way you can do that. If they happen to not be there, then they're not there, but at least you can get a feel for the unit, maybe, if they let you in, and see how the staff feel. So maybe this is a good way to actually assess the work culture. Do
Mhm.
people seem happy, or do they seem stressed? Like, how are you feeling just physically being there?
Right. And how they welcome you and all that stuff. So it's very important. So would I recommend it to everybody? Maybe not, but it's not a bad idea because like Sarah said, it could help you stand out and you can meet them. And then the other thing that I wanted to say about it too is it also shows confidence that you're going there and you're able to do that. But also you have to have almost like a pitch, right? Because you can't go over there and just be kind of super shy and not present yourself with confidence, because it would almost like a mini introductory interview, because you have to present yourself with confidence and like be able to pitch and promote yourself. It's not just going to be like, oh, here's my resume and that's it, right? You're going to have to come with something. So I hope that helps. I always talk about like your power pitch and interview pitch. So that's something that we would be going through in the webinar. So I hope to see you there, Karen, and I hope we answered some of your questions there. Someone said interested. Great. Message Farah or Sarah, message one of us, and we can give you the link to sign up. Double Trouble, awesome. Okay, yes. You'll get we can send you the recording. It'll be on your feed most likely. But we could give it to you for some reason if you're not getting it. And this is a Facebook user. Hi, Farah and Sarah. Hello, hello. Yes, power pitch. So Tanisha knows what I'm talking about because she was actually one of my clients. But I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to reveal it. But if she feels, like she wants to share, she can. But she left me a testimonial on LinkedIn. So we work through this power pitch. So she knows what I'm talking about the interviewing. So if you guys want to learn more, you gotta come to the webinar where we can, give you the true tea about how to do interview resumes and all that. And we got Remy from New York. All right. I'm currently taking my BSN and planning to take my master's right after. Do I need to wait to have a lot of experience as a nurse before applying to a leadership position?
That is a great question because this was literally me when I graduated. So I did my master's right after my bachelor's. So this is stuff that I'll definitely be going over in the webinar because I think that this is not the normal path, I would say, that most people take, but I'm just not a normal person, clearly. I've just always done my own thing. And I feel like there is definitely pros and cons to both because people had said to me as well, oh, you need to work for 5 years before you go do your master's. So you do whatever works for you in your life right now. I think overall it worked out for me, but this is something that we do talk about in the webinar, how to leverage your current life situation and make it work for you.
But the short answer for you would be you don't have to wait. You can
right
for a leadership position. But that's something that we would go into. And also, if you wanted to go more in depth about it, you may have to book a session with either one of us, and we could go into really specific steps of how to get that leadership position and lay out an actual strategy and roadmap to get you there. But the webinar would also have a lot of things for you, but it depends because sometimes we need a little bit more one-on-one, and those are things that we both offer. We offer one-on-one coaching as well. But maybe start out with the webinar will be a lot cheaper, and it's jam-packed with information. So I would like to invite you for a global nursing and research conference. All right. Okay. Awesome. Let us know. I don't know if this is okay. It's not letting me go down. Okay. So I think that's it for comments for now. But keep your comments coming. Let us know if you have any questions. What are your current struggles about in your career? Are you lacking clarity? Do you need clarity? Talk to us about some of the things that you want to learn more about, like different opportunities, because that's something else, Sarah, that I think a lot of nurses are graduating. This is like season of graduation for a lot of nurses, both, in Canada and US and some other places. And I think I talk to nurses all the time. They have issue with clarity. Some people know, like I knew, I'm like, I'm going to be an ER nurse. Nobody's going to tell me anything about it. That's what I'm going to do. And just like you, right? You have like your set.
Yeah. I was able to get into a specialty area. So I did my capstone in labor and delivery. And I fought off the urge to go to med surg because, of course, like you said, everyone says go to med surg, get your clinical skills kind of up to date. But in my heart, I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do. So I went straight into labor and delivery because that's what I wanted. That's what I enjoyed. And that's what I did. So I think that you need to think about what you want to do and not what people are telling you to do. Because the thing is, it's your life. And if you're going to be miserable, you're the one that's going to have to go down that path, right? So do what you want to do. Think about, like what you enjoy, what you're good at. If you know what you don't want, that is also a really great starting point. That's what I tell my coaching clients all the time. It's okay to not know what you want, but knowing what you don't want is just as important.
Right. And those are all great things. And, you know, and it's okay if you don't know what you want, but you should have an idea or a direction as to what you should go into. Because some people might have an end goal in mind, but they don't know how to get there. And again, strategy, that's how we would get you to be in that end goal. You know what? Sarah, hold on. This is like live, and I got some ribs in the oven, and I have
Oh,
to turn it off.
oh, you go do that. You go do that. I will carry on the conversation. So I think like one of the things I want to talk about is personal branding, right? So we don't realize or we don't think that as nurses, personal branding is important, but it definitely is. And when I say personal branding, I don't mean necessarily like this is what I've done and this is my resume, but it's like who you are as a person, both within and outside of nursing. So I always view resumes as a book cover. And I know people say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but we all do. It's the truth. We don't have that much time. So personal branding is, to me, it's almost like your book cover. It's your power pitch. It's your tagline. It's how you present yourself to the world. And that might be through social media. It might be how you present yourself face to face to someone. But personal branding is kind of who you are and how you present yourself all the time.
Right.
And I think being clear on that is really important in your career. And it can evolve over time, but at least right now, knowing what you stand for, what your values are really important. If you're at a juncture where you're trying to figure out, should I go this way or this way? This is where you really need to have a strong message and be clear with yourself first, where it is you're going to go so that other people are aware of it too.
Yeah, that's great. And this is what I always talk about, and it sounds kind of fluffy or whatever, but you have to be true to your values, and you have to know what your non-negotiables are, right? So like when your values are not in alignment, like I can't work somewhere where it doesn't align, right? So that's foundationally where you need to know, and then it'll help you have direction, because I always say if you have purpose, you're always going to have direction. And then back to the personal branding, it's not like you know, almost have to think about yourself as a nurse like you're a business, because
Right.
truly that's what it is. And I had to learn this the hard way because, as an ER nurse, I was always super passionate, advocating all the time. I talk a lot. So I was like, chatter, talking, very passionate. And sometimes leadership would take that the wrong way, and they would think that, you're either complaining or causing issues or whatever, because I was just so passionate. But I had to like take a step back and think like, well, how are people perceiving me? Because it was a perception, right? So sometimes personal branding is more of how people perceive you. It may not necessarily be who you truly are, but how are they perceiving you? So you have to be careful with the image or how you present, how you speak. If something simple like if you're always walking around swearing where you work, they're gonna be like, wow, like that's not professional, right?
Mhm.
So they're probably not gonna want you to be in a leadership position, for an example, right? So you just have to carry yourself with a certain level of professionalism, and be aware that people are watching, and what is the perception that you're emitting to everybody else, right? So that's kind of like my take on personal branding. So very good. And who else do we have here? We have Karen. She says, thank you. And more details. Okay, I'm not sure what that was about. And then thank you. I really need to hear that. Yes. So, I think Sarah and I agree on this. Like, we're both career coaches, but we always say, like, follow your heart, follow your passion, and don't listen to what other people have to say, meaning like negativity. And I just did a post on this yesterday on LinkedIn about like people will talk regardless. Like people will always have something to say, whether it's, positive or negative. But at the end of the day, I always say, like, do what feels best, go with your gut. And the worst that could happen is like, no, but you keep pursuing it. Just like me. They told me, like, my manager literally told me I would never be a nurse educator and that I didn't have the soft skills to be an ED educator. And I'm like, all right, whatever. That's just your opinion. And then I later became the director of education, like, worked my way up. So sometimes the timing may not be right, but don't give up on your goals and your dreams because it can happen. So you have to have that grit and that persistence and position yourself for success. And that those are things that we're going to talk about. And I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Sarah.
Just about personal branding, I think there's this perception in nursing that we shouldn't use social media because social media is bad. I would not be where I am without social media. So I think we need to flip our perception that it's about how you use social media that determines whether it's good or bad for you. And part of my personal branding is, what I post on LinkedIn, what I post on other social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. So it's all what you put out there, right? That's all part of personal branding, and being really clear about what your branding is going to really get you far. I see a question here, Farah. It's from Karen as well. Would you give an example of adding your personal brand on your cover or resume? I think this is like a question that we can explore a little bit more in the webinar, but I guess like there are different ways you can include it, especially even on your LinkedIn profile, right? There are many sections where you can include your personal brand, whether it be an image, whether it be a tagline. I think it can be a combination of where you want to go or your current experience or expertise. Like you just have to distill it down to a few key messages or keywords that you want to include.
Right. And this is something like, again, like Sarah said, we'll cover more in depth in the webinar. But overall, I always talk about kind of infusing a little bit of your personality in your cover letter. You can't do too much, but there's a certain way that you can do it. Like with my clients, we use like a story methodology where we kind of infuse a little bit of like themselves in the cover letter, but of course, keeping it professional. But like Sarah said, LinkedIn is the best place to really expand on this personal branding because 94% of recruiters will go check you out on LinkedIn. So if you happen to be watching this, because we're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter and LinkedIn, and if you don't have a LinkedIn, you should have a LinkedIn profile because it's the most trusted platform and professional platform. And recruiters, like I said, 94% of them will go on there and look you up. So you have to have a photo that's professional, and we'll go through all that in the webinar.
So one last thing I want to add is if anybody watching doesn't have LinkedIn, I want you to go to LinkedIn today, not tomorrow. Today, create a profile, take that link and put it on your resume, okay? That's one example of an easy way to personally brand your resume. So go do that. I think it won't hurt. It's definitely not a place that you're going to get a lot of hate. It's really professional. You know why? Everyone's manager is on LinkedIn. So there you go. Okay.
Right.
And on LinkedIn, don't be afraid of it. It's really easy to learn.
And let me tell you something I'm going to address. Because I had this fear myself when I was a nurse. Well, I'm still a nurse, like a staff nurse. But I used to think if I'm on LinkedIn and I'm posting something or I put an open to work banner or whatever, oh my goodness, my company or my employer or my manager is going to see this and they're going to think, oh, are you looking for a new job or blah, blah, blah. But guess what? It's none of their business.
Right. And the thing is, there's many different ways to do this on LinkedIn. And part of the services I do is LinkedIn profile optimization. So I can build your profile for you. I can walk you through it. I have a LinkedIn how-to guide. Like it's all there. And I think this is also funny. It's like if you're on there and your manager asks you or anyone asks you why you're on there, you can be like, well, why are you on here? It's not necessarily you're actively looking for a job. You're just networking, right? You're
Exactly.
networking, you're looking for opportunities. It's growing your personal brand as well.
Right. And that's something we're going to go through in the webinar because I also help my clients too with the LinkedIn profile. So we have a lot of tips for you guys, jam-packed tips in this webinar that we're going to be doing on May 11th. So you got to sign up. And if you want the link, message us. We can give you the link so you can have the special pricing because we want to see you there and give you all the tips so you can level up in your career. So message us now so we can give you the link. So great, great things. And then just to also say about that LinkedIn, build, even if you're not looking for a job right now and you're just watching this, build your personal brand now because you don't want to wait until something happens and then you're trying to look for a job. Also, brand it as yourself, okay? Because I made the mistake of this, of like putting all these companies and all da. And guess what? June 20th, I'll never forget this. June 20th of 2022, I got laid off from my director of nursing and education position, and they laid me off literally in like a minute. I was in the middle of an education meeting with the educators. I got called by the COO and was like, "Hey, Farah, can you come to the office?" I was like, "I'm busy. I'm in a meeting." Literally took them 1 minute and they said, "Oh, we're restructuring and your position has been affected." And I was like,
Wow.
"Effective when?" They're like, "Oh, like today, right now." So
Oh my God, this is like something that happens
yeah,
in the movies.
yeah. So like they're like, "Oh yeah, so like you can clean your office out yourself or we could do it for you."
like, did they walk you out?
No, that was it. And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, okay. Are we done?" So I was like, "Okay, great." So I just like, I was like, "Hey, bye." So I went to the educators, told them, they were shocked. Like some of them were crying. And this is it. It's like a cutthroat business. Like, so this is what I say. Do not feel bad about doing your personal branding. Be ready, promote yourself, have be ready, like resume ready all the time because you never know what's going to happen. And I always typically had like two jobs. I would always work two jobs just, to have a backup, but you never know what's going to happen. And you want to be like loyal to these employers and da da da. But guess what? They'll let you go in a hot minute, like literally. So
right,
that's
right.
what we have
And
to
you know
plan.
what? I bet whoever was high up and made that decision did not think twice about restructuring, right?
And
And this
they
is your
didn't think
career, this
twice
is your
about
life.
your kids, my kids, or the mortgage, or the whatever, because they don't care.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I got fired up.
Right. And if like just going back to the webinar as well, we're doing it over Nurses Week because I feel like this is a really good time for you to invest in yourself. Let's be real. What you're going to get from your organization for Nurses Week is probably not really what you want. You're going to get a keychain, you're going to get a pizza party, you're going to get a pat on the back, but this is something that I think will really help you. And this is, Farah's been a nurse and I've been a nurse, I would say a combined total of 30 years. And all of our knowledge and expertise, we want to give it to you. We want to help you get to a better place, right? And the way that you do that is just by learning from us. And we want to share everything we can in this webinar and really investing in yourself. You're never going to go wrong. This is how I feel.
Right, and leveling up, and this is the thing, like the thing that bothers me the most and I get the most fired up about is like that nurses do not get paid enough money. Okay. And we are afraid to ask for more. So do not
Mhm.
be afraid to ask for more, whether you're transitioning to a new role or if you're in a current role and they're not giving you a promotion or you've asked for one, because a lot of people don't ask and they're like,
Right.
well, I didn't get a promotion. Well, you didn't ask because people think that you work, 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 work. Let me work like 50 hours a week. Let me work 60 hours a week. Oh, maybe if they see me work hard, they'll give it to me. No, they're just going to say, oh, let them work. Right. So we need to be able to ask for more, position yourself to like know how to negotiate. And these are some things that we can go through in the webinar, but don't be afraid to ask for more money because we deserve it. Okay. I'm
Yep.
just saying. I'm an RN and ultrasound tech. It is a great idea to combine both on my resume, or should I create a separate resume? No, no, no. That's part of your experience. So keep it together. And that's what we'll also talk about that in the webinar, what you should keep, what you should not keep, what's relevant, we'll go through all that, but that's relevant. So I would definitely keep
And
that.
I think debunking cover letter myths is another one, because one of the questions I get all the time is like, should I have a cover letter? Should I not? Should I personalize it to the job? Should I not? This is one of those things where it depends on the situation, right? But the thing is, you don't want your cover letter to literally say the same thing that your resume is saying, because then why would you have one, right? So we can talk about, I think, certain situations where you might want to have one, or what exactly to write on a cover letter so you're not copying and pasting from your resume.
Right, right. Exactly. Those are all great points. I'm not sure. Okay, they just had a comment there. So keep your comments coming. We're going to wrap this up shortly, but let us know, is this helpful? Is this valuable? Let us know, if you have any questions, message us right now. If you want to get the link to be able to come to this webinar, the Level Up webinar, um, because we want to see you all there. So you got to sign up today, like right after this. Should I change my name from Karen to something social? Oh my goodness!
Oh, that is so
No,
sad. That is sad.
no, 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 no. Keep your name. No, no, keep your name the same. No, no.
I agree. Your name is who you are. It's part of who you are, and I don't think you should change it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like any reasonable manager would understand that your name is your name and not equate you with what they mean by the Karens or the Felicias of the world. That's not, I
Yeah.
don't think that's something you should have to do.
No.
But I will say though, if you have a given name and you go by another name, maybe you want to include that on your resume so that people know how to address you. So that might be something to think about. I don't think you should change your name for that purpose
Right.
necessarily.
And
Yeah.
the one quick tip that I'll give here, and again, we're gonna get a lot of tips in this webinar. Um, for my people that got like 5 names, please don't put your 5 names on your resume. Keep it simple, okay? Keep the main name, okay? You don't have to put all 5 or crazy hyphens and da da da. Same thing with your email. Some people have some crazy emails with weird things that are not professional or like super long. Like just create another email, okay?
I agree. I agree. And ideally
Like
you want
like
it to
hot
be
chick
like
97 or something, like no, okay?
ideally it should be some version of your first and last name. That's the easiest thing to do. I've had people who like they go by one name and they have a different name, and then they've gotten married and like their email is like completely different from the name on the
Sexy
top of
sauce.
their resume. It's like alter egos, and even I'm trying to figure out like I'm like, what is your name? Please help me. So this goes back to personal branding, okay? Personal branding, be consistent with the name on your resume and the name in your email.
Gosh.
Just keep it all simple. Pick one
Sorry,
name and go with it.
having a moment here with like these weird, like sexy something or other. I'm like, you don't want to send that to HR. All right, just keep that for for your personal. But as we wrap it up, we always like to have fun. As we wrap things up, Karen says this is very valuable. So let us know. Give us a thumbs up if you thought this was valuable. Let us know if you're going to sign up for the put a 1 if you want to sign up, and also message us. Put a 1 here in the chat, and let us know if you have any last questions before we wrap it up. Again, if you want to tell them the date.
Absolutely. So we're gonna do this on Thursday, May 11th. It's 12 p.m. Eastern time. So whatever time when you're in, think about what time that is. I believe that's 9 a.m. Pacific time. So it'll be sometime in the morning-ish. It's 2 hours. It's gonna be jam-packed. We'll have a 2-hour interactive session. We'll have an opportunity for you to ask us anything. It is going to be recorded, so you have a limited access to that recording afterwards. If you do want to get the link and you can't send Farah and I a message, add us on LinkedIn so that you can just send us a message that way. Or if you can't figure that out, you can go to my website. It's thernresume.com. Send me a message there. Farah, you've got a website as well, right? Can people
Yeah,
message you there?
my new website that I just launched, so excited, is Nurse Farah, but it's Farah with 1 R. So nurse FARAH.com. So check out the website. I have a lot of fun stuff on there for you guys. I even have a downloadable that you can get about most commonly asked questions in interviews. So let us know, message us, let us know if you want the link, and then we're gonna have you join. So Karen, yes, let us know and sign up today so you can take advantage of that discounted rate of the early bird special. And tell them how much is it. Tell them how much it is.
So I have
The
to
early bird.
the early bird special. So we've decided to extend this for just 2 more days. So the early bird special is 47 US dollars. If you think about it, that's like 1 hour of shift work. Okay. So
Nothing.
I think you deserve this. You deserve to invest in yourself. Forget about what your organization is going to or not give you for Nurses Week. You need to give this to yourself. Or if you're listening and you're not a nurse, maybe this is something you want to give to a nurse in your life, because this is actually something that is going to make a difference. Um, so real quick, I think this is going to be valuable because it's going to save you so much time and effort rather than months or even years of trial and error. We're going to give you the straight goods and tell you what you need to do to level up your nursing career.
Yeah, and you get to hang out with us. Like, hello, we're so much fun. You get to hang out with us for 2 hours, ask us all the any questions that you want, and we're also going to have some. I think you're going to have a template, right? Some different things that we'll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So part of the webinar is I will be giving you access to one of my resume templates, so you can actually start to revamp your resume into something that's really friendly for the computer cracking systems, something that's easy to read, that's going to give you suggestions on what to write and how to write it.
Right.
So definitely sign up for that, and I do really think it's going to be helpful for you.
Right. And then we'll also have I'll also send you the PDF for most commonly asked questions and a guide of how to answer it. And then you'll also, once you get to our webinar, if you want to work with us individually one on one, we'll also have some discounted prices too if you need further, one on one. And that's going to be exclusive only for the people that come to the webinar. All right. So we have Remy, Nathaniel, Remy, we have Karen. So we'll send you guys the link and message us, please. So we're going to wrap it up. Any last words, Sarah?
I just want to say that I would love more nurses to be active on LinkedIn. Join Farah and myself. If you want to even get on LinkedIn, add us, because we can just, even look at our profiles and see what we have on there to give yourself ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You are worth it, and you deserve a better salary. You deserve a better life. You deserve
Yes.
the work-life balance. Okay. And also apply for jobs even if you think you're not qualified, because so many times as women, as nurses, as people of color, we talk ourselves out of opportunities before we even get started. So you need to definitely take advantage of the opportunities available to you.
Yeah, and this is something we're going to talk about because honestly, a lot of what I work with my clients is mindset, and you probably do the same, and confidence. Because what, as you said, some of us struggle with that, especially nurses, right? And we're going to go through the brag and swag method and all this stuff in the webinar. So we can't wait to see you there. It's going to be so much fun. And again, Nurse Farah with one R, nursefarah.com. Check out the website. Send me a message there if you want to join the webinar, or just message us directly on LinkedIn. And if you want to share your website again,
So
Sarah?
it's thernresume.com, all one word, or you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, you name it, I'm there.
All right. So I think that's it. So if you want to level up your career in nursing, be a badass nurse, level up, and live the life that you deserve and get paid more, then you need to be hanging out with us on May 11th. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It was such a pleasure. Thank you for all the comments. And if you happen to be watching the replay later, still message us and do the same thing and put any questions in here that you may have. And have a wonderful day. And again, I want to say thank you to you, Sarah, for sharing your time. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
All right. Take care.